moving forward for mains preparation. As I mentioned in my early part of the speech, that it should go side by side, right? So when you're reading any material, for example, I mentioned that I read NCRTs. So when I'm reading NCRTs, after every chapter, there are certain questions in the NCRT book, right? They ask in the form of long answer question types. So you can always try attempting those as if they are asked in UPSC mains. So that will enhance your understanding, and it will act as an answer writing practice on how you are reproducing what you learned in that chapter in a very short time and limited words. So that is what I used to do in earlier stage of preparation. And since you have already started, I believe most of you have already selected your optional paper. If not, then optional paper is very crucial, and you should be very informed in selecting what optional paper you're going to select, because it is going to be a game changer in your UPSC journey. In my case, I did engineering from electronics and communication engineering, and UPSC's mains optional list does not have my engineering subject. And that is not the only reason why I opted other optional paper. I found taking ECE, even if it would present, I found it was very risky to take engineering subject as an optional, because you have to work a lot harder, and then conceptual clarity would be there, and you have to look for materials and resources as well. So I did certain research. I looked for PYQs of different optional paper. I ended up selecting anthropology as my optional subject. And the reason was because I always had this fascination about culture, tradition, societies, and tribal societies. I always found interest in reading books related to culture, society, or I would be having passion in reading this optional subject. So I ended up taking anthropology. In my previous attempt, I could not clear the cutoff because I didn't do well in optional paper. I scored only 208 marks. So it was the biggest setback. And I know it was my mistake because I was just reading. I was not writing answers. So what I'm going to tell you is, whatever you're writing, you just don't leave it there. You have to practice answer writing. That's how you're going to reproduce whatever there is in your mind in a limited space, in limited time. So this time I worked on it, and I was able to improve my optional score to 270. But still, there is a scope of improvement. The difference was that I did a lot of answer writing practice in optional, especially on PYQs with a friend. I had a very good study partner. So again, there is a very big role in having a reliable and good study partner. If you are able to find a very good, reliable study partner, it's always good. Otherwise, there are always mentors. Amisha, Dev, they are always there to guide you, because as a fellow, as a friend, and as an aspirant in RCA, I was always helped by Amisha in improving my essay. She was my roommate as well. We had many memories related to it. So apart from that, selecting optional paper is very important. And other than there are 4 GS papers, right? So each GS paper has its own syllabus. GS1, you know about the syllabus. What I'm trying to emphasize is on internalizing and having conceptual clarity of each topic. Like for GS2, if you're reading Indian polity, then every article, if you're reading whatever article you are reading, you should have the clarity on what article, what does it mean? Because not just the statement, you have to understand the underlying hidden concept, and those understanding will come from the from studying the case studies, case laws of judgments of the high courts and supreme courts. And if you're while making mains notes, what I used to do was, while studying those article, if I'm able to find any related case laws, then I would just note down, because it would add value in your answer writing. And other than, as I said, this journey is very long and very, it requires lots of dedication and consistency, but you can make it interesting as well. If you succeed in making interesting, then you will make it in first attempt only. Like, you don't have to face failures like I did in my previous attempts. So in order to make it interesting, I think it is very important that you make your mind, you keep your mind healthy and happy. So if you're making a schedule for studying, right? Like, you have to study this topic within 2 weeks, and you have to make sure that you have a time frame to revise those topics. But at the same time, you should also invest in your hobbies and interests, so that your mind don't get saturated. Because at the end of the day, it is on how aware and how healthy your mind is on the day of exam, because it's all about mind game. If you're not confident on the day of exam, and if you feel tired and saturated, it's going to impact in your performance. That is what I experienced in my own case. So in my case, if I'm making a schedule for a day, then I would also make sure that I have a time frame for short breaks. Like, we used to have tea breaks, a lot of tea breaks, and I really enjoy playing table tennis. So I used to play table tennis a lot. And I also have a hobby of gardening. So I would go to university nursery, bring cuttings and plant and like reused containers and keep it in front of my room. So those things makes you happy. It is for your self growth. This area, in my opinion, is very important in order to perform very productively and efficiently during in the exam.